What's going on, guys? Nutris here. I'm coming at you with a complete guide to playing Silvers Rayleigh in OP12. This is the newest red leader. He can only play characters cost 4 or lower. Red cards in general cost 4 or lower. And his activate main is that he can reveal 2 events from his hand and give one character with 4,000 or less base power, which is very important, plus 2,000 power during this turn. I believe he's one of the strongest leaders in the format currently. One could argue he is the strongest. I think he has the most consistency throughout. However, he does have a borderline unwinnable matchup in NL. So we're going to start going through the deck list first, and then I'll give you guys a little bit of a guide on the matchups and how you should play against them and what you're aiming for in a starting hand. All right, so to start the profile off, first we have 4 Shaki. Pretty standard. This is one of your primary searchers. You find an event or a Luffy. Often you're going to be looking for a Luffy. He is going to make your engine tick in this deck. The second is Buggy. Buggy's more of a dueler, but he also does find an event to activate Rayleigh's ability. He cannot be killed by Slash, always remember that, and he can find an event. So we got 4 of those and 4 Shaki. Then we have 4 Nami. This one's a little scary because sometimes you can whiff on your primary event cards, but she could grab Straw Hats, which helps you. Then I run 4 of the 2-cost Sanji. I think this is one of the best cards in the deck. It helps against a lot of your bad matchups. Matchups that try to starve you, such as Bonnie, Enel, even... What else starves you? I mean, blue, purple Luffy. There's a couple matchups that'll starve you, and this guy takes your own life from you. Oh, Yellow Kid especially, like when he's always trashing your life, like you get to take it for yourself instead. And I won a local thanks to that because I saw this early. And against Blackbeard, it helps too. So if you get to go second, I played against a Blackbeard in the final where I went second, and I got to play 2 of these down. And I happened to have 2 in hand. So even though he canceled my on plays, I had a very good attacker next turn, and I was able to take my life. For Boa, another searcher, she's either finding an event or a Luffy, just like Shaki. And then activate main, she can give 2 Rested Dawn to a character or leader. She can do both. We're running 2 Rush Zoro. I think that's a good number. I've thought about upping it to 3 because Nami can find him. But I think 2 is good right now. He's very strong, but I do think Kid Killer is better. We have 4 of the 3-cost Sanji, one of the best cards in the deck. I mean, it's so good. You play it right off Luffy. It's a 6k body, and on KO it draws a card, and it has counter. We have 3 Kid and Killer, including my finalist one that I won myself. This card is amazing. You could search this off of Rayleigh's Searcher event, which helps a lot, and also it's just such a strong rusher. You can't power this one up, but he's 7 already if you have 2 or less. If your opponent has 2 or less life. We have 4 Luffy. Obviously, he's like the engine of this deck. You reveal 2 events, and then you can play a 3,000 or less card from your hand, and then give up to 1 Rested Dawn card to your leader or your characters. And if you have 2 attached Dawn, he gains plus 2,000 power, even on defense. So what's important about this ability is that you always have to remember that if you have a rested character and it gets KO'd, those Rested Dawn return to your Dawn deck. So that will not count anymore towards his ability. So always keep that in mind to spread out your Dawn. And if you put 2 under your leader, his ability is guaranteed to not go away. We have 3 of Color of Arms. This is the one that is pretty much just a 2k in this deck. You're rarely going to use that plus 1,000. I mean, it can come into play. If you're swinging for game, you get an extra 1,000 power, which is nice. But that's going to be the least used out of all these. So I'm on 3 of those. I'm also on 3 Unblockable. I like this card at 4, but I think we can survive at 3. There's not too many decks that you need Unblockable against. Mainly Blackbeard. That really wins the Blackbeard matchup. 4 of the Searcher event. That's standard. You're searching for free and then getting a Dawn. So you're pretty much like not really paying for it. 4 Hockey. This is amazing. It's like being Shank's leader, but on everything. It's kind of cracked out. I don't know It's the only problem with it is that it's easy to play around, but it's a great card. 2 Mole Pistol. I was initially on one of these, but I found out like Bonnie is truly, Enel is definitely our worst matchup, but Enel's not really in the meta. Bonnie's our worst meta matchup, and this card just goes so good against her. It will pop Carrot, even if they have Koshiro on board, and it will pop Cavendish if they don't have Koshiro on board, and you really have to focus those two. I almost beat a Bonnie in the finals of another local. I had got stuck going first, which is much worse against her, and it's because I saw 2 of these back to back and was able to kill both Carrot and Cavendish on his field. And then lastly, I just run 1 copy of this Searcher event. I got the cool alt art, but that's not the only reason I'm running it. It's just an extra event and an extra way to search out Straw Hat cards. So I think it's a decent card in there. It's definitely changeable, but I like it. So that's the deck list. As far as the strategy goes, with Rayleigh, you pretty much want to go second into every matchup. The only matchups that I would say that you're better off going first, and there's a couple quirky ones in here, you definitely want to go first against Sakazuki. You might not see him too much. He's not being played that much anymore, but his curve is better going first. So you want to spawn out your 1-drops as quick as you can. And then Calgara. Calgara's whole gimmick is playing at 5 going first. So once he gets to 5 Dawn, he can really pop out his big bodies. And Purple Luffy, that's standard. Every leader goes first against Purple Luffy, seemingly. Buggy, I would say go first, as his leader ability, again, is attached to 5 Dawn. Other than that, you're pretty much good going second against everything else. The Bonnie matchup is the most critical. If you get to go second in that matchup, it's pretty much 50-50, but if you go first, I mean, you're talking much lower odds, and it really makes that matchup a lot harder to win. But thankfully, this is not too much of a dice rolly deck. I mean, it can really win going first. You have so many 1-drops that you can curve out going first. You can go 1-drop into Sanji and be all right. So yeah, I'd say like against the main meta matchups, Zoro is our best. Against Zoro, your goal is to really rush them down. If you can go second, that's amazing. Put out 2 1-drops and then just keep building board and going for game. I guess the most important thing about this deck is managing your Dawn. You always want to make sure you get the most out of your attacks, swing a lot of 5s, and keep getting cards out of hand. So sometimes it might make more sense, like if you're playing this Luffy ability out, to throw the 1 Dawn on, let's say, your Nami, because then your Nami, if powered up by leader, can swing a nice little 5k swing. And then it forces them to try to kill it, so it's like a pseudo blocker as well. Buggy's really good into Zoro because they cannot kill it with leader, so that's just going to become a useless swing for them. And against Blackbeard, Enel, and Yellow Kid especially, those are the 4 matchups I can think of most. This card is going to be a game winner. You want to get this down as quick as you can and start ripping life as quick as you can. If you can put this down at 2 life and then play Luffy at 4 into a Sanji 3-drop, you're taking your own life. This is going to be a 7k swing, and you swing with leader. I mean, you are in business, man. And don't forget that this can be a 9k if you use leader ability on it too. So you just want to make sure that against those burn yellow decks and against decks that are planning to starve you, to use this to your fullest ability. I think this card is very important in this deck. I see people using Brook sometimes. I understand the potential, but I think Sanji is just too critical right now in the current format. I don't know if Bonnie... I think that this gives you so much leverage against Bonnie, it's ridiculous. Against Shanks, it's also a similar thing. Shanks is going to keep going for control and try to control your board, and that Sanji, again, is just going to be big. Against Shanks, always remember that your power is important. They're playing Red Hawk again. Make sure that these are 6k bodies before that you swing, because if they're 6k bodies before you swing, he cannot kill them with Red Hawk. That's pretty much the main gimmicks of the deck. I mean, it's simplistic, but it's not. Your basics of the game have to be pinpoint. You have to manage your Dawn wisely. You have to remember that all your characters are easy to kill. I mean, your strongest character on defense is going to be a 6. So you have to keep spamming board, and you have to find the right setup pieces. Ideally in hand, my perfect hand every single time is both of these, a Luffy, a 3-cost Sanji, and then maybe like a 2k. If you're going second and you have the Luffy and 2 events in your hand and a Sanji, you could afford to have just a Boa to play down on turn 2. And yeah, that's the important thing, is to if you can get that Luffy out on forward dawn, you are in business. I also wanted to go over 2 potential tech cards. Vista is really good in the mirror. You can KO with 3,000 or less. And then Gum Gum King Kong Gatling is also good. But I personally don't run any of these currently. Yeah, I mean, the deck, listen, if you guys have any more questions, please let me know. Blue Yellow Nami is also going to be a hard matchup for you, just because she's always like a 7K leader, and that's just hard for us to get over. But other than that, I feel pretty strong in the format and to everything else, and I think that Rayleigh is one of the best decks in the format, and you should all feel confident playing them. Thank you.